Hello guys and gals, we're back again. I wanted to wrap up our tutorials on rhythm with a couple more concepts that I don't hear being talked about in dance music too much. One of them being fundamental to all music, and the other is just a really handy trick that I hope will inspire some of you. Now remember in episode 7 when I discussed triplets in dance music and how that was quite a rare groove choice to divide the bar into 3 instead of 4. Well, I'll tell you what's even more rare is changing this number up here. Time signature. How many of you have ever changed that from 4/4? Now, don't get me wrong, that's not a judgment. There's a good reason you haven't. This is dance music, and even some of the oldest rhythms we know are based on 4, or certainly divisions of 2. Now, these days in the dance world, we call that 4 on the floor, but if you've ever wondered what the numbers actually mean, it's 4 quarter notes in every bar. I just wanted to cover this for completeness. I couldn't do a tutorial on time and rhythm without covering time signature briefly, unless you're doing some of the more what I would call glitchy genres, i.e. glitch hop, broken beat, IDB, shout out to Square Pusher there. You're not really going to be messing with time signature probably ever. However, I can recall a small handful of tracks, really well performing tracks, that did use non-4/4 signatures. You've got Chemical Brothers' Galvanize, Outkast's Hey Ya, all in 6, and there's a really good track by Jakarta that sampled American Beauty called American Dream. It was also 6 in 6/4. And Eric Prince's Opus is actually in a macro way kind of in 6, because the chord progression is 6 bars long. And I know many a DJ who struggles to mix that track out, and that'll be the reason. Anyway, the next thing I'd like to discuss, I don't know if you remember me talking about this camel fat trick in the last video. I don't mean they invented it, but they do use it a lot. It's essentially just letting things repeat in a pattern of 3/16ths, while the rest of the track underneath carries on in 4. If you don't confine this 3/16th pattern prematurely to a number of bars, then it will naturally wrap around itself, in this case every 3 bars. And we call this trick Polymeter. Meter being another word for time signature, because you can argue this part in itself is in 3/16, and we're running that 3/16 over our 4/4. That makes 2 meters going on at the same time. That's polymeter. And polymeters don't have to be in 3s. They could be in 6, 5s, anything not 4 based. And it can be a really cool trick to get that hypnotic, drifting kind of vibe. Let me show you an example using a track I'm working on right now. This whole track, in fact, is polymeters. Here is our bass. So this is on a 6 loop. As you can see, 6/16th notes. So that makes this time signature of the bass a 6/16. And here we have a percussive synth stub kind of thing. This is on 7/16ths. So this is in 7/16 meter. And lastly, the melody, which I wanted to kind of paint back and forth between 2 implied chords, and that totaled 31/16ths. So we have a 6, a 7, and a 31, all wrapping around each other. And here they all are together. heard it used mostly in techno and trance, some tech house, but my favourite track of all time that uses Polymeter is Rej by AME, spelt R-E-J. Forgive my pronunciation, I've never heard anyone say it. I believe they're German. Anyone from Germany would like to correct me on that one, please? Anyway, this track is a masterclass in polymeter, syncopation, arpeggiation, implied harmony, all kinds of subjects I really want to get stuck into in future series. I thoroughly recommend you go check it out. If you thought my melody was a bit outlandish on a 31 loop, Rej's melody is essentially on a 59. And this is a classic techno track we're talking about here. This thing was popular. Have a quick listen. I am making a tribute track to Rej based on all those musical principles. So I'll be spending a whole video talking about that soon. Keep an eye out for that. So we've covered straight groove, swing, triplets, syncopation, timing intervals, and now time signatures and polymeter. I think that covers most of the basics for rhythmic theory as it relates to dance music. By all means, if you have any other questions on anything I've not covered yet, please leave us a question below. I'll be more than happy to do a video on it. Until then, leave a like if you found it helpful, or even a sub if you loved it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.